हेलो एंड वेलकम बैक। हमने देखा लास्ट वीक एक अच्छी क्लोजिंग थी। कहीं ना कहीं क्लियर केस कन्विक्शन भी था कि यहाँ पे सस्टेन करेंगे, बट उसके बाद एज ऑलवेज ट्रम्प साहब हो गए एक्टिव। और क्रूड जो कि अराउंड लास्ट वीक जब हम आपसे मिले थे अराउंड $86 अ बैरल था, वो खिंच के फ्राइडे और थर्सडे नाइट अराउंड $100 को भी क्रॉस कर गया। वो पेन पॉइंट हमें मार्केट में देखने को मिला। फ्राइडे का ट्रेडिंग सेशन जो कि हमने आज देखा रिलेटिवली थोड़ा सा डिसेंट था। अगर हम पूरे हफ्ते की बात करें, नेगेटिव क्लोजिंग जरूर करी, बट लोअर लेवल से जो रिकवरी आई, जिस तरीके से आईटी इंडेक्स और बैंकिंग वापस ग्रीन में अपने आप को मेंटेन करने की कोशिश में दिखे, और 23,800 जो कि एके हमें हमेशा से बताते आए हैं कि एक स्ट्रॉन्ग रेजिस्टेंस या सपोर्ट है, उसको भी ब्रीच करने की हमने कोशिश करी। तो ये तो हो गया पूरा का पूरा आइडिया कि हुआ क्या और क्यों हुआ और आगे क्या होगा। ये समझने के लिए एज ऑलवेज हम जाते हैं एके के पास। और इवनिंग।
Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
कंफ्यूज्ड एज ऑलवेज, बट दिस टाइम बिट मोर बिकॉज आई एम अनेबल टू अंडरस्टैंड हुआ क्या ये पूरा का पूरा।
Yes, there is something that I am unable to understand actually, Rachit. I had जैसे मैंने आपको last week बोला कि our markets and even the oil and global markets are should at least if not are should be now getting matured enough to handle the shocks given out by Donald Trump. Because we have seen this not once, not twice, but many, many times in the past that, he says something and then he reverts and then he retracts his statement. And all we always do is an oil price spike and oil price cools off again. Similarly, the markets drop down below and, gap up again. Something like that always happens, and it has been happening for more than a year now. First, it was with tariffs. Then it was with this whole Middle East tension, uh, uh, and now again more statements are this thing. I think in 1 year or 1.5 years, all market participants should have that kind of kind of maturity or something, like a resistance to shock. I see you and me both know that this week's downside, what we saw in the market, five straight trading sessions of downside. This was not, first of all, this was not really triggered or done anything by our factors. I agree that our results are not our corporate results are not across the board extremely well. Extremely, we have good results, we have bad results. They are a mixed bag as of now. बट दिस वीक जो हमने देखा है, ये पूरे वीक, मंडे ट्यूसडे वेडनेसडे थर्सडे एंड फ्राइडे, all 5 days we saw a correction, and it was more or less linked to the crude oil prices. अगर आप देखें कि क्रूड ऑयल प्राइसेस जो 80 82 के करीब था लास्ट वीक, वो as of Friday morning before the market opened was almost at 100 or 100 से थोड़ा ऊपर था, and it only cooled off little bit, maybe $3 or $4 towards the second half of Friday. So अगर आप देखें तो हमने जो निफ्टी का मूवमेंट है from the whole 24,300 levels, it kept going down, 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 and my crucial level of 23,800, जिसकी मैं बहुत टाइम से आपको बात कर रहा था, 23,800. I was still actually till Thursday, I was confident that 23,800 nahi tutega irrespective of whatever happens. But overnight, when we were sleeping and it was day in America, the crude actually hit 100, which kind of created a panic. अगर आप फ्राइडे का इंडिविजुअली सिर्फ फ्राइडे का ही चार्ट देखें तो क्लियरली देखिए, जो गैप डाउन मूवमेंट आपको दिखता है, एक 23,869 जो प्रीवियस क्लोज थी वर्सेस द गैप डाउन मूवमेंट एंड द लो बीइंग टच्ड एट 23,614. It is almost about 250 points. So, this gap down is a sheer sign of panic for a market that was trading well above 24,300 after 4 days of correction. And I would not say drastic correction, it was okay, 100 points every day. After 4 straight days of correction, on the fifth day, if it falls down and gap down opening of 250 points on Nifty, it is obviously very drastic, right? It is created by panic. एज अ रिजल्ट आप सीधा अगर देखिए लो हिट करके इमीडिएटली मार्केट में एक शार्प पुल बैक भी आया. Okay, this is another sign that, because somehow at 24, sorry, 23,600 or 700 or any price below 23,800, the markets are in their heads confident that we are at a cheap valuation. It is a good time to buy. Even the traders are confident about that. So आप देखिए, the moment it fell down below 23,800, एक sharp pullback आया क्योंकि नीचे से buyers आ गए मार्केट.
Right. So does that mean that next week we are about to witness the same respite rally and momentum going forward? Is it something?
I would assume that Donald Trump might retract his statement tonight or on Saturday, and then we might see a gap up on Monday. It is a very, very big possibility. I do not see further escalations or something like this happening. What I am really surprised, what I started off by saying, that I am also not, I'm also not understanding this one thing, that why there is so much movement on a statement or on an action by Donald Trump now after 1.5 years. मेरे हिसाब से मार्केट्स को, और नॉट जस्ट इक्विटी मार्केट्स, इवन क्रूड ऑयल मार्केट्स को इतना शॉक प्रूफ हो जाना चाहिए अभी तक कि 500-600 पॉइंट निफ्टी में नहीं गिरना चाहिए. इवन इफ यू सी अ परसेंटेज वाइज मूवमेंट ऑन क्रूड ऑयल, अगर 82-83 का क्रूड लास्ट वीक में था and it is touching a high of 100 plus 102, we are looking at over 20% upside on crude.
एक अच्छा खासा.
Right. So in that case, what exactly we are looking at is that today I believe it's the 550th day of Trump being into power. On 20th January, he
Right.
came in. And I believe in 550 days of this taco trade that we have seen. So in over the weekend, as it usually happens, if the markets are quite happy, he tries and takes down and acts in a manner that the market might behave and go southwards. And because
Right.
already we have corrected this much and the crude has registered a spike,
Right.
up till now, the kind of correction that we are seeing, does that mean that we might again go and touch 24,300 levels in the coming week?
24,300 again, maybe not immediately, Rachit. But yeah, any gap up opening on Monday can show you 24,100, 24,150. And if that sustains, 24,300 is a very much possibility in the coming week. All it has to do is an absence of any bad news. I'm not even saying good news. I'm not saying good news. I'm not saying that something good has to happen for markets to move up till 24,300. उसके बाद सस्टेन करना शायद उसके लिए कोई गुड न्यूज लगे, बट टिल दैट प्राइस मेरे को तो लगता ही नहीं है कि कोई जरूरत है. सिर्फ साइलेंस जो बोलते हैं ना, नो बैड न्यूज इज गुड न्यूज. अगर कुछ और नहीं आता है, ये धीरे धीरे मार्केट खुद अपनी समझ से 24,300 के तरफ चला जाएगा अगले वीक में.
So what would be the range? The range would be like 23,800 to 24,300. Is that the range?
Technically, market has closed below 23,800, which was my strong this thing. But today and Friday's movement is really not something I'm worried about. The the market maintained above 23,800. I'm confident that Monday itself 23,800 will be crossed, and crossed with conviction, and even a closing above 23,800 will be in the store on Monday. That is for sure. It could go up to 24,100, 24,150 in Monday itself. That is okay. बट अगले वीक हम 23,800 के जब उस पार चले जाएंगे, उसके बाद in absence of any further nonsense from Donald Trump, I feel that we will slowly crawl back to the previous Friday levels, which was 24,300.
Chaliye, got it. So I believe, let's see if Taco triggers in, or he just mum and says nothing, would also help the markets to regain back the
Absolutely,
position.
absolutely, absolutely. So much of statements, see, so much of his statements have been in opposite direction, coming one after the other, and so many of his statements have come in, and then there has been no follow up on or follow through on any of those. So anything he says or does is not something that the markets can take as a game changer. It is not. It is not something that he is saying ABCD today. He may say XYZ tomorrow, or he may say BCDEF day after also. It is it's a monkey show. It's a circus. It's a complete circus.
I believe many market investors and traders would certainly connect to the last statement that you have given, that he has made circus out of everything. But as always, it was fun learning and understanding and talking about the markets. Hope to catch up with you the next week at least above 24,200 levels. Hopefully, if the circus doesn't continues like this. Okay, happy weekend, and thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.